Hey everybody. We are going to start the stream PC build here in just a moment. Let me get the audio sorted out here. Hopefully there's not an echo from the mic. And then we'll get started. Okay, that should help, I believe. Is there an echo? Okay. Yeah, I was hoping that would help a little bit. Cool. Okay, so, as some of you know, we've got that upper room at the gaming spot that they are currently building a video production studio out of. And with that, they just installed hardwired internet from Spectrum, so hopefully that'll be good. And once that's in and once they're all set up, I think they'll be doing some testing this weekend. We should be able to start streaming. So to get a head start on that, I got everything kind of going ahead of time. I got layouts made. Shoutouts to Zesty from the balcony in SoCal. She did a great job helping me make these. Hey Nero, doing good, doing good. It's a Friday night. Got some cider, got some computer parts. We're gonna have a good time. So anyways, like I was saying, we got layouts working. I got some stream text updaters and stuff. Hey Sparky, how's it going? And we're gonna start building a PC. So I'm gonna go over all the parts real quick. For those of you who haven't really built a PC before or don't know what's going into it. So here is the processor. That is a Core i5 7500. That is going to be our CPU. We don't need anything too beefy because we're using capture cards. So we're not playing the games on the computer. We just need to be able to stream. Underneath that, we have the Silverstone SX500LG. That's our power supply. And oh, I know Nero. I've got the chat up in the side because it's computer building's not too difficult, so I can pay attention usually. But if I'm doing something busy, I may not notice stream. Anyways, this is thermal paste. We're gonna use it for the CPU. If this cooler here, the CryoRig C7, doesn't already have it built in, it may come with some, so we'll see. But just in case, I got some. We have Windows 10. We have a Samsung 850 EVO. This is going to be our operating system SSD. And then we have a 1 terabyte hard drive. This is going to store media and anything else. This is our motherboard here. It's the MSI H110i Pro. Mini ITX form factor. Because this PC is actually going to be pretty tiny. It's going to be portable. We have a GeForce 1050 Ti as our graphics card. I wanted something with a little bit of kick, just so we don't have to worry about, you know, doing video output and using stuff. Yeah, the reason I went with 1 terabyte instead of more is because I've got hard drives for days. So worst case, this will just be for streaming events. I'm not going to use it like personally. It's just going to be like a side computer, or stream computer, or a travel setup. So if we ever fill up with videos, I can just put it somewhere else to archive it. So we'll see. Oh no, it's not a 1080. It's a 1050. 1080 Ti is like the best NVIDIA card you can get currently, and it's like ridiculous. 1050 is a lot less expensive, and it'll do just fine. And we have 16 gigs of Crucial DDR4 RAM, should be enough. And then the case is below all this, so you'll see it eventually, but it's a Silverstone ML08. It's Mini ITX, and the reason I got it is this right here. It's got a nice handle on it. I wrapped it with electrical tape just to make it grip a little better, but it'll be really easy to carry and move. So Dev, yes and no. I had some gift cards and stuff, and I got a lot of this stuff on sale, so it's not too bad. But at the same time, yeah, this did cut into my hobby budget quite a bit. But I think it'll be worth it in the long run, because hopefully this PC will last us for years. We should be able to do streams with it for a long time. Yeah, so I think that's about it, and we're going to get started. One thing I didn't check, I just realized I don't have an optical drive. I should have a Windows 10 installer on a USB stick somewhere, and then I'll just, you know, use the serial off this to make it work. If not, you may get like a half hour of stream where I try to build an ISO of Windows 10. So I'll go from there. My favorite toolkit from iFixit just has all the screwdrivers and bits and stuff you'll need. Good pair of scissors for anything you come across. And then I've got a tool bench, or a toolbox you can't see in the corner, that's got screws and cables and everything. Yeah, Sparky, I used to do this a lot as kind of a hobby in high school and college, so I'd build stuff for friends. I don't have as much time anymore, so I don't do it that often, but this will be fun. I'm looking forward to it. I haven't built something in this small of a case in a while, so we'll go from there. So like I said, first things first, I'm probably going to want to put the power supply in just so I know how to route all those cables. Then we'll do motherboard. Actually, no. We will put the heatsink and processor on the motherboard before we put the motherboard in. Then we can put the GPU in. Then we can put the hard drives. And then we wire it all up and then turn it on. The entire build, if you were to pay like MSRP for everything, just around, I think, $900 to $1,000. So it's not, it's like not super cheap, but if you look at a laptop in a similar price range, it would actually be kind of a lot. And I have so many monitors and everything that I didn't really need a laptop necessarily. And this one will be a lot more future-proof. I can install more stuff in here. I can do pretty much anything with it. You know, if we don't get to stream, worst case, or anything happens, you know, I decide I want to play some other game instead of Smash, things like that. But yeah, this could actually work as a pretty good, like, Steam machine. It'll play most games at decent settings, I think at 720p. So it's probably even overkill for streaming, but I just wanted to make sure that we had enough. Yeah, so you spend 3 or 4 hours doing the install yourself, but then at the end of the day, you save a fair amount of money. So I actually need to read the instructions on this case to see how I want to open it up. This is the ASMR section of the build. This manual is like got textured pages. This is actually really nice. Okay, so the whole thing just opens up basically. Then you put everything in and then it all sandwiches together. Okay. So since this is a smaller form factor build, it's going to be kind of like a puzzle. I may take stuff apart and put it back, see how it all works. So be patient. We've got all night. I don't have a tournament to run until tomorrow, so we should be okay. Yeah, that was kind of the goal, is hopefully the only issue will be internet. But from talking with Eric and the guys working on it, internet really shouldn't be an issue either, but we'll see. Worst case, I may sell it to somebody or do a raffle or something. We'll figure it out. And then, you know, down the line, if I want to get a better capture card or something that needs more hardware, we'll have that too. And okay, that's a little confusing. I don't know if you see, but there's a power plug on the back of this. So I hope I didn't buy a power supply to have this case come with it, but worst case, I got everything from Newegg, so should be able to return it. Also, hi Zach, yeah. Please don't interrupt the stream if possible. I mean, you can come in and hang out if you want, but we'll figure it out. But yeah, I don't know if that's just something they put in there to kind of help space things out, or if I have 2 power supplies. So we'll see in a minute. So that's one of the side panels off. It's kind of hard to see, but there's a little filter in there. It's got this nice kind of mesh to help keep dirt out. So we'll see. Also, hey Lewis, how's it going? Glad we can entertain you for a minute here. So I don't see a power supply in there. So maybe it's just like a pass-through. We'll see. Okay, so that side comes off like that. So put those to the side. And then here is the frame. Assuming this is screws and everything else. Not sure what that's for. Maybe for a fan. Here is the hard drive trays. If you see them right there, those two. And then here's the cables for all the onboard stuff. Like you've got your USB ports and things in there. Let me see if I can take this off close to the mic. There you go. So yeah, you can see on the front there's ports and things like that. So that all has to plug onto the motherboard. Oh yeah, this is... So if you look at this cable, this is going to plug into the power supply. So that's so they put it on the other end of the case, and then that runs to that. So that's actually kind of cool. They thought things out with this. And then this... big flat areas where the GPU is going to go, but they're expecting you to put like a full-length GPU, and the reason I got the 1050 Ti is it's not nearly as long. So we're gonna go from there. I'm assuming CPU, motherboard, everything goes there. Power supply goes over here. Graphics card goes on this side. Hard drives go here, and then we're done. So I'm going to undo this wire tie. Is that Zesty from SoCal? What's up? So if that's actually Zesty, then she is the one who put together these layouts for us, so be sure to thank her. I think she did an excellent job. We have layouts for Melee and Smash 4 if you didn't see the test streams I did earlier, about a week or so ago. So I need to see if these trays come out or not. I need to see without breaking them. Okay, so you pinch those. They don't come out, they just slide up so you can put everything in. Which is kind of cool. So I'll do that later. Yeah, it's always like, computer building can be fun. It can be stressful. But at the end of the day, I really like it. It just can be kind of time consuming, especially if you have a smaller build. So I'm going to see how they recommend putting everything in. Okay, so it says power supply should be the first thing. And then I'm going to open up this box of accessories and things like that. Hey, I'm not Linus. I don't drop things. I do my best to not drop things, unless it's combos or SDs. So if you look at these weird little parts, they're gonna, these are what are called risers. So you're gonna plug it into part of the motherboard, and then it extends the kind of distance that you can plug stuff in. We've got a nice Silverstone logo and some feet. I don't know if I'll be using those. These look like brackets, I think maybe for the case to stand on vertically. We may or may not use those. Some weird plastic stuff, don't know. Then we have zip ties and motherboard standoffs and screws. So you'll definitely be using those. And speaking of motherboard, an easy way to tell where the motherboard is going to go on your case is you will see these. Let's see if I can get closer here. You'll see these little sockets for screws. That is because they ground to the case, so you have less of a risk of short-circuiting things. So, okay, power supply is going to go first, and the one I got is a small form factor one, so it'll fit perfectly in this case. It's also modular, meaning all the cables can be removed, and you only use the cables you need. So, I'm going to wait to plug in cables till I have everything routed, and I may have to lift stuff up and put it back, but we'll see. Why is... Wait, who's banned? I don't think anyone's banned. Wait, let me check. Did he ban himself somehow? There's like... Alright. How did he get banned? See, he's like already derailing the stream. This is actually my first time moderating a stream, so we'll figure this out. How do I unban somebody? Alright, if anyone can help with that, that'd be great. How did he ban himself? This channel hasn't even been out for that long. That's ridiculous. Okay, where in dashboard is it? Because I'm in the dashboard and I don't see it anywhere in here. Like, I see stats, I see stream info. Where the heck is it? Okay, there's viewer lists. Is that where I unban people? Nope. Like... Okay, where in the dashboard is it? Or actually, okay. Nira, I'm gonna give you... yeah, good try, Zach, but I have Automod on, and that's probably why Avery got himself banned like an idiot. What's his... I don't even know what his Twitch name is. It says he's not banned, so if you give me his username, then I can unban him. What's like... Let me go get my phone real quick. Of course, Avery always messing things up. Alright, I've got my phone with me now, so hopefully he'll tell me how to unban him. Yeah, this is like super distracting. Thanks, Avery. Send all your angries his way. Alright. Yeah, the Arvin kids are a completely different story. Anyways, back to PC building and ASMR. I am opening the bubble wrap. Craigasm. That's to distract you while we get Avery in here. Alright, let's try this. Yeah, I ended up winning it from that contest they were doing where they're trying to have people guess. It says they're not banned. Are there any other commands? Like, instead of timeout or something? Because it says he's chat blocked, but I don't think he is. That's so weird. Oh, is it the arrows? Okay. Thank you. Okay, it says it's not a valid name. This is going excellent. Thank you very much, Avery. Oh, because caps. Yeah, links are bad because I have automod on. And I want to build a PC. I don't want to have to police chat all night. So yeah, only certain ones are banned. So for now. Yeah, Fresno's had a couple decent tournaments actually. It says it's an invalid username. So I don't know what to tell you, Avery. Oh, thank you, Lewis, for sending me that. Be easy. Yeah, it's weird because it doesn't say that he's banned or anything. Alright, let me find this out real quick. I mean, we've got time tonight, but this is like really kind of a derailment. Yeah, he could, but I'm assuming he's more lazy than that. Just because. Alright, let's see if I can find him. Okay, so I can find his account, and that's not a problem. He's not banned, he's not... Unless the auto mod just decided to be weird. Alright, so... He's not banned. What if I ban him? Okay, now he's banned. Now let's unban him. He's no longer banned. Alright, you should be able to try it now. And then let's just try... Alright, he's now unignored, so he should be okay. Unless he got timed out, yeah. So, alright. Unless, are you guys all following? Anyways, alright, Avery, if you want to be in here and that didn't work, I don't know what to say. I got a PC to build. So let's get going. Anyways, back to that. Little more ASMR as I get this label or this sticker off here. There we go. Now I can put this down. Yeah, I wonder if it's only people who are following that can post. I didn't really check most of the automod stuff, so we'll figure it out. Anyways, I gotta keep going. Avery can make a second account faster than I can figure this out, so probably makes it easier. So PSU, okay, let's align it this way to match everything here. Stop power supply and connect to the power cord extension cable. I'm assuming it goes upside down because there's a hole there and then the fan will blow air through the hole. Deluxe, we may or may not get to stream stuff because they may be testing things still. So we'll see how that goes. But maybe not this Smash Lab, but maybe the next one we'll be able to start streaming things. And we have both Melee and Smash 4 layouts ready to go. So eventually we'll do, hopefully we're going to do both side by side. Justin can do one and I can do the other. And this is odd. Okay. Brackets here. It looks like it should line up. But it doesn't want to go all the way in. Oh, that's because the cable was hitting it. Okay. So that's good, at least. Now I need to find the screws. I think they're in the PSU case. Yeah, we'll fix mod stuff anyways, later. Yeah, Zanite, that's gonna be the fun part. That's kind of the challenge. Okay, here are the screws. But I've done stuff before, so we should be okay. Foot cam, yeah, we're appealing to all audiences here tonight. It's a variety show. We already got some ASMR going. And knowing how these cases go, I'll get everything secured, and then I'll probably have to move it all again. I'm going to leave that switch on because I'm assuming once it's in the case I won't be able to reach that. So like I said, power supply is in. It's a little hard to see. And then we've got that little extension cable right there that then comes out over here. So there's that for now. Oh, do you guys want a whiteboard? I don't have a pen, but I actually do. My magnetic screw holder to keep them from rolling away. Actually, I can write on it. So maybe once we get some followers, we'll add stuff on there. We'll do builds or something. So next step should be power supply bracket. Okay, so that was one of these plastic parts. I guess that's to hold it in place. So they're slightly less confusing than IKEA. Okay, so it goes that way. Oh, I see. And it holds the cable and all that in place. I also really like that the mic picks up like all the little sound effects. That's a good touch. Now I have to find out where all the screws went. I'm assuming some of these are different for the brackets, just because okay, so they're the medium length ones with a flat top on them. So they're gonna look like these. So I need 2 of those for the power supply. Yes, he is, because the rest of my room is kind of a mess right now. That's how production works. Okay, so we're gonna mount that bracket to hold that in place. Where'd my screw go? There it is. Also, the fact that this case is flat black actually makes it very difficult to see what I'm doing. So that kind of helps. Also, pro tip, if you can get a screw with magnetic bits to help hold screws in place, it's super helpful. And for all you Melee nerds, the iFixit kit I have also comes with a tri-wing, which is super useful. So you can see there, that's going to hold the power supply in place. Kind of keep it separate from the motherboard. So we should be able to start on the motherboard, excuse me. So before we do all of that, we need to mount the CPU to the motherboard and the heatsink to the motherboard. and then we're going to drop everything in. So we're going to get some more ASMR here. You never know. Depends. Like I said, I may run into problems. I may not. It may go super easy. May not. So we've already got the PSU in. And we've got motherboard, graphics card, CPU, heatsink, hard drives, wiring it all up, installing Windows, waiting for Windows to upgrade, getting all the stream stuff on there, and then testing the stream from that PC. I may or may not do all of that tonight. I at least want to get to installing Windows tonight just to show you all how it goes, and then getting it all to boot up. So anyways, as you can hear, I am opening up the case for the motherboard. It has 2 hard drive cables. We're going to use those with the SSD and the hard drive. It's got this, your I/O port cover, that keeps too much dust from getting into the PC. Put that to the side. And then we have the motherboard here and an anti-static bag. Just get that close to the mic for some more ASMR. So this is a mini ITX form factor motherboard. It is very small, and it's going to fit right here on the PC. So you can tell where it fits because there's going to be a rectangular hole in the back of the case for the I/O shield. Admittedly, I'm not very good at putting in I/O shields. I always seem to mess them up, so it may take a second. Yeah, thanks to Lex and Nero. Like, this is the layout we're planning to use for streams. Like I said, Zesty, aka Courtney, really did a great job with him. I just used it for the PC build because I'm lazy. I probably could have done something better, but we'll see. Anyways, I like how this install guide has a link to a YouTube video if we wanted to. So it shows you how to install basically everything you could want on here. So this is a 1150 socket, I believe. Yep, LGA 1151. So we're going to want to use these instructions here on how to put it in. Hey, he's back. Look at that. Yeah, behave yourself, Avery. I'll do it again. And it won't be up for discussion. Okay, so pro tip. Whenever you are working with PCs, if it feels like you have to force something in, don't. Odds are good you will break something by doing that. So I'm going to open up the CPU, the arguably most expensive part of this build. So I don't want to mess this up. Man, this is like unboxing ASMR and everything too. You guys are getting everything tonight. It's a good stream. So here's instructions. Don't need those. Kappa. And then this little part is the CPU. Let me get that close so you can see it. And it also came with a stock heatsink. We're not going to be using that because we have this nice and beefy one that will still fit in the case. Something you have to do when you're building a PC is do a little bit of research. Ask people who may have installed stuff in a case that you're going to get and see how it all fits. So I'm just getting rid of everything that I don't need. So this is the heatsink. CryoRig C7. It is not a vertical one like your Cooler Master Hyper 212 Evo. It is a horizontal one. It'll sit flat, kind of on top of the motherboard there. And the metal will keep it clean. And I don't think it has any thermal paste. It does not, so good thing we got some. I'm going to put that to the side for now, because the first step is putting the motherboard, or putting the CPU on the motherboard. Oh, sweet, Lewis. That's going to be awesome. Dude, it's so you got the internship during the summer, and then are they going to keep you on after? Because that's what I did with Chevron. They kept me there, so sweet. That's actually awesome. I'm really happy for you. Let's get some PogChamps for Starman. Yeah, no, the Cooler Master Hyper 212 is actually really good. Like, it's a really good base one. But you may not need it, especially if you don't overclock. The stock one does pretty well. But I got this one because it's going to keep it a little bit cooler, and it'll be a little quieter, which we need in a smaller case. So, okay, I'm looking at the instructions here. So, you see there's a little cover. That's because there's going to be pins for the socket to rest on, and you don't want to break those in shipping. So, this is probably the scariest part of any build, is there's this little pin. You're going to slide it off, and then it's going to pop up. Now you see in there, that's all the, where all the power is coming in for the input outputs on your CPU. So, like I said, you don't want to force it when you put it in. You're going to see on certain sides there's going to be slots, and it's going to fit in one way and one way only, really. So it's not going to be too bad. Oh, you're working for Lynn? Nice. It's going to be dope, but hey, it'll still be... It's something, Starman. That's a good start. So, alright, we're going to open this up. And then it's very important, like you see how I'm holding it by the edge? You don't want to touch any of that stuff in there, and you don't want to touch the top, because the top is how you're going to have the conductive heatsink. You're going to put thermal paste on that, and it'll help transfer heat. So you don't want to get oils or anything on that. And then you don't want to touch anything on the bottom, because that's all the cool, important, nerdy stuff. So, let's see if I can read this right without falling in again. Okay, so I see there's the two little nubs. Like if you look at the bottom of the camera, the two little inserts on the left and right sides. And then if you look here, the nubs are there. So that means I want it to go this way. I'm doing my best to touch as little of the metal as possible. And if you look at it, let's zoom in there. You see it just sits there nice and tidy. So, I don't know, Avery, you must have done something wrong, Kappa. I honestly don't know why it did it. Maybe if you were chatting after hours or something. I'm not sure. Like, I honestly don't know why. I didn't do anything. Yeah, so anyways, it's in there, but it's not secure. So this is, like I said, the scary part. So you place this down, and then you're gonna slide this forward, and it's gonna have a little give. This is like the only part it's gonna have a little give. So you press down, and then you slide it in, and then it rests. That is to make sure this doesn't move, but also that it makes a good contact. So you see, it's gonna be in there perfectly. Now that it's there, next step is to put the cooler on top of it. So that's all handled. Oh, it's showing me all the instructions for other stuff. I don't need to worry about that yet. Next step, where's that cooler? Okay, so that's here. And then here's the giant instruction manual. Here's the bracket. So this is going to go on the back of the motherboard. The heatsink's going to install to that. Use this as an anchor, and it'll provide just enough pressure to get the thermal paste to be a good contactor. it's going to be like a really thin layer, so the heat travels from the CPU to the heatsink and then out through the fan and the air. Why is there? Okay, there's 2 different languages. Oh, and then the product registration card is in this nice little like Yu-Gi-Oh looking blister pack. It's like, it's a $15 cooler. You don't need to do that, but it's nice. Apply a thin layer of paste on the CPU. Fit the screw pillars through the mounting holes on your motherboard. Place the back plate with the Intel side facing out. Pass the screw pillars through the appropriate holes. And then hex screwdriver, cap the screw pillars. The rounded face facing down. This is actually a really simple looking install. Yeah, for sure thing, Lewis. If I'm not super busy with stuff, I would be more than happy to help. Okay, so this is the point where we're gonna need to put some thermal paste on. So I'm gonna open this up. So they give you a ton. This is like a $2 bottle, and this will last for like years, honestly. It'll go old before you need to get more. So when you're putting thermal paste on, the pressure of the heatsink on it will actually do enough of the work for you. So you don't want to put a whole lot. You just need a tiny amount. Like that is possibly maybe a little too much, but that'll spread. And if you really want, how am I gonna do this? If you really want to do a little bit extra, you can take it and you can kind of spread it a little bit. Usually I use a toothpick, but I don't have any handy and I don't want to go get any. So I'm just going to spread it a little bit. And then the pressure should take over the rest. Now it's important that you don't get it anywhere but the heatsink portion. And you don't need a whole lot, like a thin layer is more than enough. The pressure and the conductive properties of it will take over from there. So like I said, this looked like it was a little excess, which is why I kind of wanted to take some off with the scrape. Okay, so like I said, you don't need a very thick layer, it's just kind of thin, and you should be good to go. Yeah, this is the Smash 4 soundtrack because it's got so many songs that I figured I wouldn't have to worry about finding music or anything. My current job is actually doing rather good. I don't know if you were asking me or somebody else, Sparky. Okay, so we've got paste on the CPU, for the screw pillars to the mounting holes of your motherboard. This is actually really easy compared to some of the other coolers I've used. Yeah, the music for this stream is just gonna be the Smash 4 soundtrack. Like I said, I can be lazy at times, so maybe. Looks like it's actually gonna fit regardless of which way I do it. So this doesn't really matter that much, but it's gonna bug me. So I want to see where CPU fan. So CPU fan is gonna plug in right there. So sorry, it's not on screen or on the camera. So also something I should have mentioned: the motherboard is gonna have certain spots where you plug in all your components. So the CPU fan goes here. So the motherboard knows to tell, you know, the CPU fan when to cool and things like that. So, see, if I do it this way, we're just gonna have the cable like kind of pointing up. So I'm gonna run it around, do a little bit of cable management, hopefully not break anything. And I'm gonna put the heatsink like this. Okay, so It is now resting. It's basically just sitting flat on the CPU. It's kind of hard to see, but there's a little sandwich down there. You can see it down there a little bit. And then we're gonna put the bracket on the back. Okay, so it says place the back plate on the back side of the motherboard with the Intel side facing out. So like this. And then I should see where to put all the screws. Okay. This is actually a very easy to install heatsink. I'm surprised. Like, I didn't know it was going to be like this when I bought it. So, kudos to CryoRig. It's actually rather easy. So, now I've got the back plate on. I'm holding the bottom. Can't see my hand down there. And then, now I want to just use the screws. Cap the screw pillars with the screw caps and tighten the caps. Alright, and then that's it for that. That was actually a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. I just need to find the bag that had all of those cables, or all those screws. Where did I put it? Did I even take it out of the box? That's the question. If anyone on stream can find where I put it, let me know. Now I'm derailing the stream. Okay, so this should be fine if I just place it upside down like that. Oh, there are the screws. Oh, it even has a screwdriver in there. Also, another pro tip, check everything in your boxes. Okay, so those are the screw caps. Okay, I see. This gets you the right distance, and then you screw the screw on to tighten it enough, but not to put too much pressure on the board itself. But yeah, I figured the Smash 4 soundtrack was like, you know, neutral enough that it wouldn't really get anyone in trouble and people wouldn't object to hearing it, so. Okay, so now that's on. Let's put these caps in. Oh, those are spacers. Okay. And what do I... That's weird. So these serve as the caps as well. Okay. So I guess that is just one set of screws. I thought it was two. Then it came with this cool little hex screwdriver. Okay. So you notice I don't have to be as careful anymore around the CPU because it's under the heatsink. And it's secured, so. Now, something when you're installing a backplate for a heatsink is you want to put even pressure on each of the sides at similar times, because the end goal is, like I said, to compress the distance between the heatsink and the... Let me make sure I have this on the right way. Oh, one sec. I also had these on the wrong way. Yeah, they're pretty small. It's amazing what you can get nowadays. But that was a Amazon package my mom brought in for me. Oh, so the cooler actually came with its own thermal paste, but whatever. I have more now. Not a big deal. But I was gonna say the package my mom brought into my room was actually her birthday presents. So keep that a secret. Yes, no. I got it from work. They have a discount program. But I didn't, it was still a little more than like student price though. And I didn't use like hardware swap because I don't want to have to deal with that. So the screws on the back of this plate actually do go on in a certain direction. And that's what was confusing me, so I double checked and figured that out. Like I was saying earlier, you want to put even pressure on each of the 4 corners at the same time, so as to not put too much stress on any one part of the like connection between the heatsink and the CPU, because that can definitely happen. Then that helps the thermal paste spread out a little more easily. Okay, so let's get these tightened. And so you want to go in a X pattern where you do opposite sides together. And really, this is actually the hardest part, I feel, of any build. I almost ignored my own advice. Is the motherboard. That was actually a very easy to install cooler. So I guess that worked out in my favor. So you don't want it to be over tight, but you want it to be just tight enough. So that should hold. So I can now hold it by the heatsink and there won't be any issues. That's how you know it's a good hold. And so now that I know where that plugs in, I'm actually gonna unplug this. See if I can't. No, I can't get to go around, but I can do this. This is a trick I like to do to help tidy up your cables just a tiny amount, especially in a smaller case where you run it around. And it should be okay. As long as it's not gonna hit it, but it should be alright. Okay, so we've got PSU installed. We're about to drop the motherboard with the CPU and heatsink in. Let me just get rid of all this stuff I don't need from those parts. Put the cap on the thermal paste because I'm pretty sure that's not safe to eat. Get rid of those screws. Get rid of these bags. Don't need these spacers. I think they were for the AMD version. Don't need that extra thing in thermal paste. Get rid of that bag. Alright, we got the IO shield. Now if you'll notice, the IO shield is kind of like textured. It's gonna go in one way to make the cover. And then I gotta line it up with the IO on the back here. So it's gonna line up just like that. So what I wanna do, gonna press that into the case. Oh dude, I love this song. Like I said, I'm not usually very good with these IO port covers. I think on the first couple of PCs I built, I just didn't put them in because I was like, who cares, I'll clean it. Should be how it goes in. Yeah, that's what okay, maybe I've been doing it wrong all this time. And you go in from this side. Oh, hey, look at that. Wow. Okay. Maybe I learned something new today. Is that really how it goes? Huh. Well, color me surprised. Alright. We'll get this in place then. So I've always done it from the inside, and I kind of just sandwich it together. So, chat helping for once, Kappa. But I need to put the plate on first, don't I? Or it's not gonna fit. So where is my flashlight? I think it's in one of these drawers and I don't want to knock these over. That would actually be rather helpful, but oh well, I'll make it work. Yeah, that's what I thought too. It should just drop or like click in there. Maybe I'm just not doing it right. Alright, let's tilt it up so I can get a better look. Does it need to go this way? I doubt it. Yeah, because it's printed this way. So it needs to go on like this. But this is too small to fit all of it. So I'm assuming I just need to find the corner that matches best. And then just kind of drop it on there. And then pressure will hold it in place. Yeah, this one's going to travel a lot, so I don't really feel comfortable just letting it hang out. Get it under the metal pins here. Okay, and then it's in its base. This is where it'll sit on stands. I think this music is pretty fitting, considering how stressful this is. See, it wants to pop out. I don't think that's really how it's gonna work. This is when everyone finds out that I don't know what I'm doing it. Okay. Yeah, let's try that. And let's just try and get this going. like it should rest like that just fine, but it's slightly too small to really fit. That holds it in place until I try to plug something in, or I try to pass it through. So if I do it like that, it may or may not work. Yeah, like it's a little hard to see, but this hole is slightly larger than this port. So if I flip it over and all the text is backwards, then it kind of just lays in there just fine. But that doesn't make sense. It's got to go on this end. Yeah. But you guys are all saying to plug it in from the other way. But I think by going from this way, I press it in and it's fine. See? Okay. You guys got me doing it all wrong. That's the problem. Now it fits fine. Thanks, chat. Kappa. And you're all talking about feet anyway, so who cares? Alright, now let's drop this motherboard in. I think it's just different on this case than other ones. See how easy that went on now? Line it up with the standoffs for screws, and we will screw it down. Okay. Gotta see what screws it needs. Oh, it won't use the ones from the case. It'll use the ones from the motherboard box, which ended up somewhere. Unless I just opened it. Actually help me see a little better. And those are the motherboard screws. Found them. We'll see. Aight, have fun, Lewis. Thanks for checking in for a little bit. What time is it anyway? It's 7, so we've been doing it for about an hour. I think we're about halfway through the install of everything. But who knows? Wiring may take a bit longer. We'll see. Here's some tiny screws. Yeah, this motherboard has actually been rather easy to install compared to others. Alright, so that's in place. The I/O shield is on and looks good. Alright, now next steps. Okay, that's not going to have any issues. Welcome back, Nero. We recommend connecting all front I/O and motherboard power cables now. Okay. Move optical drive slot. Okay, I don't need that because we're not going to have an optical drive because it's 2016, people. Okay, so now we have to install all the I/O and power that's going to go from the power supply to the motherboard. So this is when the modular PSU cables come in handy, as I don't have to install more than what I need. So if you look at this board, there's two sources of power. Here's this little 4-pin, and there's this, I want to say 16-pin. Can't remember exactly. Who's counting anyways? So we're going to need both of those. So that's this cable. And then PCIe, that's not the power supply one. I want to say it's this one. Yep, it's definitely this one, because some bigger boards will need 8 instead of 4 on that second rail, so we'll only be using the one. You guys are being mean in chat, jeez. So the nice thing about it being modular, so I can plug in whatever end I want first. So when you're plugging in power supplies, you feel around, you're going to find like a little slant, and that's where this little hook latch thing will connect to. So you plug that in, and you're good to go. Like I said, if it doesn't feel like it's going to fit without a little force, be careful. Most of the time you won't need to force it. Let me clear all these notifications. Nothing embarrassing pops up. So that one's in. And then now let's open up this. Just kind of ignore what's going on in chat right now. Let you guys fight amongst yourselves. Gonna go this way. Clicked right into place. And it's looking good. Actually, I might as well just keep that flashlight on, since I keep doing that. Okay, so we'll put that there, so I can see what's going on. TX pin 4 is bottom right, so it's going to go here. You know what? I wonder if it'll let me... I'm going to do something real quick. I'm going to loosen that screw, and then this bracket. Yo, Pokemon Stadium hype. Let's go. Open this bracket, and it'll let me slide it out enough to get that cable through, and then you can route it. Now see? That looks much cleaner. Probably not. See, like I said, everything being all black cables in this case is actually going to make it really hard to see what I'm doing. Okay, let me see if I can route this through without putting too much tension on the cables. Actually, this one, I think I'm just gonna run through. This cable's too thick to really force to go through that channel. That's now hooked up to the power supply. For a small case, you really do get a lot of room for cables and stuff. So that's kind of nice. It's just gonna sit up here. Cable routing, especially in smaller cases, you just kind of have to do what you have to. So that's just gonna sit there. It's not gonna live upstairs. It's gonna stay with me, and I'll just bring it to events and stuff. But yeah, they have like all their other stuff. They've got a lot of equipment they're gonna set up, but I think it may cost us extra to use all of it. So that's why I'm a little hesitant. That's why I wanted to do our own. And then if we ever go to other venues, we'll have stuff too. So those are powered up. Now we've got to handle all these. So you see all these nice braided cables. This is all the stuff on the front. Like you've got your hard drive. Let me see if I can get this closer to you guys. You got like your hard drive, LED, power LED, power switch, all that sort of stuff. So we're gonna hook those up next. And usually there's a little spot on the motherboard. I want to say it's up. Looks like it's up here. Let me see if I can show that to you guys. I really shouldn't have gotten all black parts. That makes it really hard to see. Yeah. But if you look right here, there's all these little pins, and that's where all these little pieces are going to slide into. But I have to look on the motherboard install and see where all those go. JFP1 is what we're looking for, which is that. Okay, so if we're looking at it, that way, okay, so where's the reset switch? Reset switch. Plus minus. Okay, so reset switch. And that last one's reserved. Okay, so reset switch goes in there. I want to say, yeah, because plus minus should go that way. This is like slightly confusing. It actually goes the other way because it's at a different perspective. So reset switch goes here. Okay. Well, thank you, Pac-Man. Yeah, we'll yeah, new venues. We'll see. There may or may not. We'll figure it out. And this is the Melee layout. We actually have a Smash 4 one. If you check the videos, you can see the Smash 4 ones and see how those look. So reset switch, then we have the hard drive LED. Which is power switch. That means this one's got to be hard drive LED. Okay, and then we want plus minus, so we want it facing this way. I like how the music seems to be fitting the mood. Then on the back side, hard drive LED plus minus. Okay, and then reset switch. Let me. Wait, what? Oh, then we have power switch and power LED. Okay. So power switch goes this way. This is actually rather confusing. So this part can kind of be annoying too, just because they're so small, these little inputs. Welcome back, Kizzy. Alright, so now we have power LED. So LEDs do have a positive and negative end, so I have to do this right. So positive goes where HDD positive went, which was that side. Okay, so it should just go like this. Okay, so all those should be in. Hopefully right, otherwise that'll be fun. Unless, wait a sec, did I just... No, power LED goes that way. So it should be fine. Alright, we'll see if that works. Should, but it's just weird that the label's backwards for one of these versus all the others. It actually bugs me, but it should be fine, I hope. Odd. I like how this guy tells you like everything about installing this, even though you don't really need more than those. Okay, so if we're looking at it this way, HDD LED reset switch. Positive, negative. So that should be in right. Should be good. So what I'm gonna do is that should be the last I really need to worry about. Lighting. So all this is connected to the front of the case. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna put all these through here on that bracket that they had us install earlier. There should be enough spare room that they'll all fit, and then that'll keep things a little bit organized. Tidy it up a bit. That 16-pin power supply rail is way too big. Probably never fit, so I'm not going to force it. Let me double check to make sure I didn't bend any of those. Nope, they all still fit pretty good. So now the goal is spread them out so they're not all putting too much pressure on the bracket at once. And I should be able to close that up. Cool. I don't think I'm going to fit any more cables in that part, so I'll stop pushing my luck and just tighten that down. I don't know if they intend you to use it like that, but make it work. And right after I said I didn't need a flashlight, I need it again. So that's all done. Alright. And so another way to help with cable routing is I'm going to pull this 16-pin out. Like, you notice stuff once you're like working on it. I'm going to put these in front of it, so when I tie this, they will stay behind it, so to speak. There's all this. I missed one of them. Dang it. Okay, so that's all plugged in. Once I'm done organizing this cable a little bit more, I will like hold it up to the camera for you guys. Because this is, I think, one of the more challenging parts. So all the front panel I/O and power for the motherboard is in. Next up is the RAM. So let me just show you real quick how everything looks wiring wise at the moment. So we've got, actually wait real quick, I see these hanging out. This is USB 3, which just goes right there. With this giant cable sticking up for no reason. There's HD audio, which I need to figure out where that goes. It's gonna go there. I can tell by the pins. That's in there. This is all good to go. Alright, I think that's all the front panel stuff plugged in. So now, I can do what I was just doing. Just reroute all the cables through this and tidy it up just a tiny bit. And that shouldn't put too much stress on this. Thank you, Arcana. And like I said, this is just me using it for whatever because I'm a little lazy. But we'll actually have Smash 4 and Melee layouts. Both of those are pretty much good to go. So I'm just kind of smushing all the cables in here. I'm actually not going to put them all through that power supply little wrap because I think that'll be putting too much stress on them. So I'm just going to smush them all over there. And we should be good to go from there. Okay, everyone's playing Guess the Songs in chat. Still gonna have to eventually plug in the hard drive power cable, so that may take some effort, but I'll figure that out in a minute. Okay, so we'll put that under there. So this is how the cabling looks at the moment. See if I can turn it around so it's a little easier to see. Not too bad. Everything's just kind of in a bundle in the corner there, but that's because this case doesn't have a whole lot of room. Okay, so next up is going to be the RAM, and like with every other part, you don't want to force it. RAM only goes in one direction. Oop, and one of them fell out. It's okay, the RAM's pretty sturdy. Hopefully we didn't get any bad sticks of RAM with this. I'll have to test it. That's kind of what I wanted to do tonight, is start running tests on it. So it's only going to go in one way. There's going to be a little slot, and then there's a slot on your RAM, if you can see that in the middle there. And you want to line those up. If you don't, it's not going to go in. for some reason, that didn't feel super comfortable. Even though that is the way it should go in. There's only one... Okay, only one side of this pops out. Oh, I see. It's got to go in exactly straight, not at an angle. There's so little room. And that's in. Okay. So that took a little more force than I'm used to. But it's seated in there properly and it looks okay. So now we'll do the other stick. We've got 16 gigs total. 8 gigs on each of the 2 sticks. Okay, took a bit of effort to get everything lined up, but I think it's done okay now. Sorry about that, I had to adjust the mic a tiny bit. And I need a bit of water, so I'm going to mute the mic for just a sec. And I'm back. Okay, so power supply's in, motherboard, CPU, heatsink are in, I/O shield, all I/O wiring is in, RAM is in and looking good. Now the next step is going to be, I believe, the hard drives. And then the last thing to plug in will be the GPU or video card. So optical drive we're not using. So squeeze those to open it, and you slide it in upside down. Okay. It's a little odd. So get some ASMR going. And this is the 1 terabyte hard drive. See, this is a little confusing because it looks like it wants you to install it upside down. Unless it goes... Nope, does not go down there. Huh. It's a little odd. Yep, this is definitely the way it's supposed to go in. It's just weird because it doesn't feel like it's supposed to go in that way. It just feels a little bit awkward. Okay. But it's in. And then we're going to do the same thing for the SSD. Oh, so it is now 7:45. We've been at this a little bit over an hour and a half. I'm not being super careful with this box because I don't really care. And thank you to everybody who's watching. And everyone who followed. I'll cut myself a little bit. But, oh well. That usually happens when building a PC. There's so many sharp edges and things like that. So, something I'll note when you're working on PCs is you're going to get a lot of, like, CDs and drivers and such. Hang on to them if you think you'll need them, but usually you won't, because Windows takes care of most stuff. So here is the SSD, and that's going to drop in just like the regular hard drive did. This one's a little thinner, so it slides in a little easier. It's neat that you don't have to screw anything in or do any of that stuff. I may have got it backwards now that I look at it. No, I think this is just offset, so it should be fine. So I think then you hook everything up. Yep, next thing is the PCIe riser, which is gonna install the PCIe riser and secure with screws. Okay, so I need to figure out where that is. It's definitely this one, because this one goes 90 degrees. So that's going to slide in here, because there's only one PCIe slot on this board, because it's a small board. And it has screws to secure it. Oh, now that I look at it, I probably shouldn't have done the RAM until I did this. How do you secure it? Oh, you secure it on the other side. Okay. That makes it a lot easier. It's the same ones we used for the power supply clip. I should have put Sandstorm in here just to mess with you guys. that's for the optical drive. Oh, I see. We wanted to use one. This case is actually very well laid out. I'm enjoying working with it. I think it was a good purchase. And the motherboard has spots for an extra fan or anything. I don't think we're really going to need it. The fans on the GPU and CPU should be more than enough. And then with all the extra space, even in such a smaller case, we should be good to go. But if not, I have a couple fans I can put in later. So we'll just have to wait and see. Okay, so the riser's installed. And the next step is to get these plate covers off so we can put the graphics card in. So if you're building your own PC, it probably won't be this complicated. This is a little more complicated than normal because we're using such a small case. So if you can see here, this little part is this little part in there is the riser, and that takes the PCI inputs and outputs that are on the board, passes it through the hole in the side of the case to here, and then that is where we're going to put the GPU. Yeah, the upstairs room actually has that mini AC. So the mini AC is more than enough to cool that room, so it should be fine. But you're right, we may have to wait and see. But that's kind of the nice part about building your own computers. You can do that sort of thing. So let's see what else is in the box. We have more drivers. GPU. People sometimes include stickers and stuff, so you show off, but nothing in here, not that I care. I actually do take care of the graphics card boxes because if you ever need to resell them, it'd be useful. And then here is usually the part people are most envious of. That is the GPU. That is the 1050 Ti from MSI. The reason I got it is 1, for the size, and 2, just so we don't have the CPU doing both graphics and processing. So this is just going to slide in here. Or in theory it should. Wait a sec. That looks like it's... Okay, now there are slots for it to fall into. But it's hitting this part, and it's not actually fitting. Like, it needs to go lower than that. It's weird. So unless I can get that off, I may have to cut that off. Just a little weird. Because I feel they wanted it to fit there, but it's not nearly low enough. Like, this is a little awkward. That's why I have to buy a full length. Oh! Nope, I'm just not smart. That is what this second part is for. That goes on here. Just like that. And then it plugs in just like that. There we go. Okay, that had me worried for a second. I really like how that looks though. Look at that. It's just right on there perfectly. I really like this case. I think it works well. Where did I put those screws? There's one, there's the other. Okay. Yeah, I didn't even mean to color coordinate this well. Just turns out everything I bought was one color, except for the RAM. But this is turning out better than I expected. And thank you everyone who's watching. This is pretty cool. I'm really excited about hopefully getting to stream again. And as long as nothing goes horribly wrong with the video projection room, we should be okay. So there's even a little bracket we can install to help support it. Find that. I don't think we're gonna need it because I don't think it's tall enough. Yeah, it's not even tall enough, so it'll just have a little wiggle room. That's not a problem. And okay, so everything that's left is hooking up power. So we just gotta finish up some wiring. We can put the case on, then we can start it up. So where is the power on this? Oh, that's actually another reason, now that I think about it, why I also bought this graphics card. It needs no additional power. It gets all of its power from the PCIe rail. That shouldn't be an issue. But that's another reason why, now that I think about it, that actually saves us an extra cable and makes it look super tidy over there. So, in reality, this is actually what the backside of the cases look like. That's all we need there. So that's pretty cool. I'll run that through a little bit, just so make sure it's not poking anything over here. It looks good. So now we got to do the front. All we have left is power and data for these. So here are the data cables. I think they give you one right angle, and then they give you one straight. 2 right angles would actually be great. Okay, so now I need to figure out where those plug in. It's going to be those 2 up front. Actually, having the right angle there is going to be a problem. So we'll put it on that side. Then these cables are way too long for the distance they actually need to go. Also got that mixed up. Oh, Dreamland hype. I want the 1 terabyte drive to be in slot 2. And then I want the SSD to be in slot 1. Doesn't really matter, but I just like to do that. Alright. So let's figure out where we're going to hide these cables. Because we don't want them hanging over the fan, necessarily. So I think, like everything else, we're just going to come back here. That should be fine. Yeah, Vadley, I'm gonna, so that's also part of the stream. I've got, if you look in the back over here, I've got many monitors, because I also bring them for tournaments. So the next part of the stream is, I'm actually gonna start it up. You can test that things are working without Windows, because your motherboard is gonna have what's called a BIOS, which is kind of like a mini operating system that shows you specs and everything, how everything looks. And then, once that's all taken care of, we can start installing Windows and testing that. I probably won't make you guys watch the Windows install part, but once we boot up and make sure that everything looks good and nothing's like freaking out and we test all the buttons and stuff, then we can go from there. So we actually, this stream is probably going to end here soon. It's only 8, so it's only been 2 hours for this build, which is actually that's not a bad time for like a mid-range PC that has all these parts. So I'm actually pretty happy, even with delays like Avery interrupting and then me not knowing how to install a IO shield and things like that. I wish this cable would stay down. I have to figure out something to do with that. Oh, there we go. I can slide it under that. That looks good. So that'll hold it. So it's not, you know, the most organized. And I really, this being a right angle is gonna bug me. I should swap these, I think, just because I can kind of hide the right angle a little better under here. But yeah, this being a right angle is actually kind of bothersome. So we'll bend that a little bit. It's going to be hard to get to the RAM eventually, but this is a small case. So we'll see. I know, this is a great soundtrack. Okay, so all the cabling, kind of messy, but it's there. Now I need to power these hard drives. So I'm going to use this one. And then that's actually everything. So then we'll boot to BIOS, and then I will be able to show you guys how that's going. I will probably change or move the cameras once that's good to go. This is probably going to be the hardest part, figuring out how to get this cable over there. So I'm going to want to start on this end. Gonna want to run under. Yeah, I'm surprised because the case and the power supply are from the same manufacturer, so I figured they would maybe have thought about that. Having to do all this kind of contortion here. That'll sit there. Like, it's not ideal, but it's better than nothing. Yeah, all these Twitch Prime subs. I have Twitch Prime too, because Amazon Prime's amazing. No regrets. Okay, so now I need the flashlight again. See where this goes.
She sent an emergency directive. Join the fight.
This song is so cheesy. It's like way down in the bottom. Ugh. It's a little frustrating. Okay, but I'll try and reach it. Actually, you know what? The easy way to do this is going to be pull this 16 pin out. And break everything, of course. And then plug this in down there. And then we plug that back on. Cool. All right. So if I did everything right, that should be it. We should be good to go. It is a tad bit of a cable nest down there, but I think given everything, see, if I'd have known that we would have had all this leftover space for the optical drive, I can fit my whole hand in there. I could have done stuff with that, but let's just shine some light. That's how it looks. We've got the motherboard, CPU cooler, heatsink, RAM, power for everything. We've got the SSD and HDD. Those are power and data cables coming in. Then we have the power supply, and on the other side here we have the graphics card. So next step is, normally they would tell you to put everything back together, like put the case sides on and all that, and the handle and everything. What we're actually going to do, because I know everyone's curious to see if this works, and to see if I got it all right on my first try, I'm going to leave this open. I'm going to go get a monitor and plug that in real quick, and then we will see if it boots up. And if it boots up and the temperatures look okay and nothing looks like it's going to be a problem, then I will put the case on, put the handle on the case, and then probably call it a night stream-wise. Because then I get to do all the boring stuff, like install Windows, get drivers going, get the stream layout and OBS set up, and all that good stuff. But hopefully having you guys here to help me and keep me entertained, I did everything right the first time, and we'll be good to go. And then you guys will see that it's not super difficult to build your own PC in a couple of hours. So let me close that out. Most of it, when it comes to installing stuff, it'll kind of do it itself. I just have to keep an eye on things. But I do need to get ready for Smash Sub tomorrow, so that'll take some time. So I'm going to mute my mic because I have to move some stuff around. Hopefully I didn't short anything. We'll see. But I think I was pretty careful. So now the hard part is I need to figure out where all the buttons are. See, I like how there's all the instructions on what'll fit in this case and what won't, but only with once you've bought the case. Like, it doesn't tell you after. Oh, hey, and it shows you how to cable route. Wow, that's actually really nice cable routing. Similar to mine, you know. It's not too bad. But, okay, let's figure out where the power buttons are. Why does it not show me? Okay, here we go. Okay, so it is in that little case up front, but I don't know how to open it. Oh, it slides up and down. That's actually pretty cool. Alright, everybody. Here we go, a moment of truth. So you see, I put this down here so you guys can see it. And, alright. Here we go. Or did I plug the power switch in wrong? So nothing turned on. So I'm assuming that means the power switch was backwards. Or yeah, I didn't plug the power switch in right on that little front board thing. So like I said, that was probably going to be the most troublesome part. Unless the power supply is off. But it is on. And I think I hit something on my keyboard. Sorry about that noise. So, yep, looks like that little power and reset switch I put in wrong. So now I gotta fit all of that in again. Where did I put the guide for that? I think that's actually the part I enjoy the least on every install, is getting those right. So what I'm gonna do, for safety reasons, just turn off the power supply switch, unplug this, move it over to the side, move this back down, and we'll try again. Definitely need a flashlight for this. Okay, so if I'm looking at it, that way, which corresponds with this, so I need it to look that way now. Yep, I think I put them in the wrong spot. It's super weird. these all up and try again. Okay, so 1 and 2. So there's HDD LED. Actually, reset switch. There's power switch. LED. So it should be reset switch, reset switch. So it doesn't show where the plus and minus needs to go on the reset switch. It just shows that it needs to be there. And if I look at it, okay, the lighter one's the minus. So that means it needs to face out that way. See, the problem is this motherboard expected all these wires to be colored, positive and negative, but this case, everything's all black. So that makes it hard. And everything's in the way. Okay, and the next one is going to be the hard drive light, which really you can get away with not using, you don't have to, but it's cool. Pretty sure those two are good. So now power switch. See, once again, it doesn't tell me which way it's supposed to go. Okay. That is so weird, it doesn't tell me. Because there's a plus minus on here, but not on there. Ugh. But if I'm going to go off the reset switch, and reset switch minus went that way. But I'm pretty sure that's how I did it before. If reset switch minus goes that way, it means it goes in like, oh, this is actually really frustrating now. Pretty sure that's how it goes. Oh wait, maybe? Oop, nope, gotta turn that around. That's probably what got me in trouble last time. keeps going one pin over to the left wrong instead of where it actually needs to be, but okay. That time I got it. This is so stressful. Okay, power then minus goes on this side. Yeah, that's so weird. The labels on these are like the opposite of where they actually need to go. If you're following this motherboard layout. Okay. Oh, that was a little bit painful. So let's try this again. That is hopefully the last thing we had to fix. So we're going on 2 hours, 20 minutes now. A little bit longer because of some hiccups, but not too bad. Okay, so power should be on. I'm not gonna plug it in to the monitor yet. Yeah, see? It's being weird. It's not starting up. So what we're gonna do is, see, like the LEDs aren't even coming on, so either this supply is totally dead, or this right angle thing isn't working properly. Or it doesn't go in the way they said it did. And everything else on that power cord is working fine. So I don't really see it being that. So, alright, we're going to turn that off. Then I'm going to flip the power switch around. Just the power switch. See how that works. Which might be incredibly difficult. And I got the reset switch. Okay. So, I'm not going to worry about the LEDs or anything. I'm just going to do the power switch at this point, because this is starting to bug me a little bit. Okay, so it said to plug it in like that. Alright. I may or may not be done with it by the time you get back, so we'll see. Hopefully. Okay, because there's JFP1. So it says reserved, no pin. At this last side, so reserved, no pin. So that means, if I'm looking at it right, the left side, the last two are for power switch. But it doesn't show what direction they're supposed to go in. It doesn't show what's positive, what's negative. So I've been putting it in one way. And I don't want that to get in the way. So I'm going to put it in the other way this time. Wasn't even close. It's not even the right one. I want power switch. Reset switch. HDD LED. How did the power switch get under there? It's actually starting to get a little ridiculous. Okay. All right. So with that in, just as in as I think it's gonna get. Okay, we now have power. Or we should. So let's try hitting it. This is actually starting to get annoying. Why does it not want to turn on? So that goes here. Plugged in. I have this plugged in. Everything's got power. Ugh, yeah, this is being weird. This is being mighty weird. Because that's plugged in. This is plugged in. This is like a second switch I didn't notice on here, but I doubt it. So that's on, that's off, that's on, it's off, okay. So let's turn the power switch around. Yeah, this is actually starting to get a little stressful. Okay. That should be good to go. Only thing I could think... is like they labeled something wrong. I doubt it. Or I'm using the wrong half of the 4-pin power cables, which would be kind of annoying. So apparently power switch and reset switch can be connected in any, like, it doesn't matter what order they go in. like the plus or minus. So unless the switches are broken, maybe there's a power issue here, which would suck if the power supply was like dead before we even got a chance to use it. Okay, so power and reset supposedly doesn't matter which way they go in. The LEDs, it does matter. So I'm just going to plug those in. And I'll go from there. So the only thing I can think of is being yours, because if the motherboard doesn't turn on, nothing will turn on, because it's what tells everything else to turn on. So maybe I just didn't use the right side of that 4-pin connector for the motherboard. So we'll see here in a sec. Well, the power supply is dead, which would suck because then I'd have to unplug everything, take it out, send it back, get a new one. And that won't happen until sometime next week. So that would be the worst case scenario. Like how these two cables have given me more trouble than the rest of the build so far. That's how it's supposed to go. So why is there... See, that's what's confusing me. I don't know why there's... So it should work. So let's real quick. Worst case, I can bypass this and plug in straight to that to see if it's this cable that's giving us trouble. Because if that's the case, then well, I'll just have to figure something out. But for right now, I'm going to swap this one with this one. See if that's the problem. I don't think it would be, but you never know. Now this has me worried. because the power supply might be dead. Like, it's very rare that that happens, but that would be good luck. Kappa. Alright. Let's take a look at this. Very weird. This is in, this is in. All that's plugged in. Everything has power, everything's good. Everything's secured. Only thing I can think is someone's up with the power supply. Or installed something totally wrong. But everything fits pretty well, so I don't see that happening. Okay, so we bypass this little part. And then I'll make things kind of awkward. Don't know what to tell you. This isn't looking super great. Only thing I can think of is okay. Let's try this. Alright, person. See you tomorrow. Yeah, I was hoping this would be a little more foolproof because everything went super well up until this point. Only thing I can think is that by not screwing all these in, the power supply wasn't grounded enough or something, and it didn't want to start up. So we'll see. But like, I don't hear anything when I push power to it, so that or that board. Like, because it could be a number of things. But if this doesn't work, what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to take everything out and then just lay it all out on the ground and then test it outside the case and then see how it fits or see if it works. If it doesn't work, then I just have to start troubleshooting basically. Because it could be any one of these things. And luckily, Newegg's warranty is pretty good, but then it's like such a pain in the butt to deal with. So, ideally, you want everything to work first try. Because troubleshooting PC stuff is not fun, especially when you got a live stream. So, let me double check and make sure I didn't miss any power. So, CPU fan, G power 2. I don't see anything missing. There's no power I need to plug into. Switches should be good. If that's where it's set, if it actually goes where they say they go. Everything looks good on here. Okay. Well, this is frustrating. because I don't see anything wrong here. There's no reason it shouldn't be starting up. Yet it isn't. So, what time is it now? 8:40, almost 9. Jeez. Unless this cable's bad. So let's try. I know I'm like trying whatever now. See if it'll work. But at this point, unless that is actually no, because here's the monitor cable. The actual button is on. Alright. This is a little annoying because that means I gotta take it all apart and see why it's not starting up. Unless the reason it's not starting up oh, wait. If that is the... Wait, where is that? There's like a small button that says... You just set it to the right. Setting for your region? Oh, if I mess that up... Where's that? But I doubt that. That doesn't look like it. It's the only other thing I can think of. That or one of these parts is bad. I'm gonna have to figure out which one it is. So that's plugged in. That is off. I also don't see a regulator of any kind, so nope, that's not the problem. Okay, so if you're just now tuning in, we have some weirdness going on. For some reason, it does not want to start up. I don't know if that's because something's up with the power switch, or if something is up with the power supply, or if I wired something up wrong. So it looks like I may have to pull everything apart, plug it all in separately, and then see what may or may not be working. So we're gonna have to play this by ear, I guess. Oh yeah, hey Badly. So we go to start up and didn't turn on. I thought it might have been I wired the switches backwards, but looking at the manual, the power and reset switch, it does not matter what order they go in. They should be good no matter what. So I tried turning it on, didn't hear anything. Been trying some other things, still nothing. So what I'm gonna do now is take it apart. I basically have to take it apart and plug it all back together outside of the case to see if it'll turn on then. If it'll turn on then, that just means I wired something up wrong and I didn't notice it until too late. If it still doesn't turn on then, I'm willing to bet that it's a bad power supply. And I think I have a spare power supply in storage somewhere. So we'll just have to go get it and then test it. So we'll see. But yeah, I'm going to start pulling this apart because I can't see of any other things I can troubleshoot at the moment without taking it apart. So, alright, part 2. I was hoping we'd be able to start up and close the stream down, but I'm going to keep going. Yeah, I know, it's kind of a bummer, but such is life. That would really suck to get a bad power supply just right out of the box. It's never happened to me, but I have seen it happen. Or the RAM could also maybe be bad, and that could be off. Like, any one of these parts could technically be bad, and that could give us an issue. But we'll see. But having it outside the case will give me a better chance to look at it, and will give me another chance to see if it works. So if it all starts up outside of the case, I think we'll call that good for tonight. And then I will put it back together myself, because the stream is going pretty long. Because usually you hear, you know, something at the very least. You hear like a beep or like a warning if something is bad. This is just not doing anything. So I'm a little confused. It's got me a little frustrated. But that's how things go sometimes. Alright, I'll catch you later, Sparky. Have fun eating your food. Unless I missed something and this needs power and it wasn't getting it, but that's not going to keep it from starting up. It'll just keep it from displaying anything. So I don't think that's it. But actually, it shouldn't take that long. Taking it apart is easier than putting it on. So thank you once again to everyone watching. I know this may not be super exciting since we didn't get to start up, but hopefully we'll figure it out tonight. That's my goal. If not, I may stream again after Smash Lab tomorrow. Worst case, the VODs will just get delayed while I'm doing this. Yeah, the only thing I can think is something didn't get screwed in properly, but like I'm going through it all as I pull it apart, and everything looks okay to me. So maybe I just got distracted. I remember my first PC I built, I forgot that 4-pin to the motherboard, so it didn't start up until I figured that out. But everything was plugged in on this one. I also remember on the first PC I built, I didn't put on the heatsink before the first time I turned it on. And that went well. Luckily I saved it before the PC got killed, but you know. Only other thing I can think is maybe these motherboard screws are too small. That could very well be it. I may have used the wrong screws for the motherboard standoffs, which means it may not be making full ground, and then it may not want to start up. So that might have been my bad. But anyways, I've got it all pulled out in just a second here, and we can go from there. That would be a little frustrating if that's what the problem was, because that's an easy fix. I thought those were a little small. Okay, so with that is out. Now all that's left to pull out is the power supply. See, taking it apart only took a couple minutes. It's getting everything in that tiny space that takes forever. Now let's go Nintendo Land. So people recommend that you test everything first before starting up, which is always a good recommendation. Trying to see if that button got broken in any way. I don't feel like it did. So I'm just going to do a simple test. Put the RAM back in. By simple test, I mean I'm just going to plug in the bare minimum to turn this on and see if the power supply is actually working, because if it doesn't work, odds are good the power supply is bad, like right out the gate, which would suck, but it happens sometimes. It's rare, but it happens. And I can plug this in. Having to worry. Oh, that's great. Part of the razor snapped off. So there's that, there's that. There's the power supply. So it should be the power cable. Should be able to switch power on its own. Need to tell it what kind it is. Okay. Looking at this. Okay, motherboard 24 pin goes here. Right. Okay. This is the one to use for the PS8 pin or ATX 4 pin. So that goes in here. This is IDE and SATA, so that's this one. And there's PCIe 8 pin or 6 pin, which we won't need because, from my understanding, this does not require power of any kind. We are okay on that. Yeah, I'm looking at this. Everything looks okay, from what I can see. So I've got all this. This is gonna go here. this one. It's only the one, too. That's in. Not using that right now because I don't need it. And I do need the power switch though. Though I don't know how I feel about using it. Although I know, wait a second. Let me look this up real quick. I know there's a way you can jumper it. That'll make it troublesome. So there is a way to jumper this so I can test it. But I can't see which one to jump. So, yep, I will have to use the power switch. So unless this power switch is broken, but I doubt it. I really hope it's not power supply, but at this point, it's kind of looking like it. Or if it's not this power supply, it's the cable, which would be a little unfortunate. Unless this is all labeled wrong. So we'll see. it's a little unfortunate because it seems like it may be the power supply that's just dead. Unless the only other thing I can try is plugging this in somewhere else. Seeing if that's the problem. What's up, ice cream? Yeah, we kind of hit a snag. It's looking like the power supply that I got may just be dead. So, can't build much of a PC without a power supply, unfortunately. So that may end the stream. Yeah, I'll just have to. I think I have a test one I can go use. But I've never had this happen before, where you just the power supply you buy right out the gate is just dead. So that's a little frustrating. And I'm trying to see if I have a spare or not. Well, we have Justin's laptop. You know, I was building this mainly as a secondary one. I wanted to do Smash 4 and Melee at the same time. But the room may not be ready tomorrow anyways, so we'll have to see. But yeah, this is weird. And I don't want to take the power supply out of my computer, because that would take forever. So I may just have to order another power supply and see how that goes. Or I can go to Best Buy real quick and buy one, but it's not going to fit in the case. So yeah, we have a Melee and a Smash 4 layout, and they're both similar. So they're gonna look pretty good. So I'm pretty excited about that. The last part was getting this kind of all put together, and that didn't really come together, unfortunately. So now I'm basically just testing stuff as kind of a Hail Mary. See if there's anything I missed. I really don't think there is. I think I had everything set up the right way. So Nero, I got everything hooked up, everything plugged in. And then we go to turn it on, and nothing. Like, I don't hear, there's no coil whine, there's no like indicators, no LED. Like, nothing is even. I don't know if this power supply has like a light or anything to indicate that it's on, but none of that's working. Yeah, so I tried some other stuff, like double checking everything. I pulled everything out to see if I maybe set it up wrong, set it up again, just the bare minimum. So either the only thing I can think is either the power button's busted, or something's up with the motherboard, or something's up with the power supply. And that's kind of frustrating with a new PC, having to troubleshoot all that. But I'm willing to bet that it's the power supply, because I'm not getting any response. Like, if it was the motherboard, I'd assume something would turn on at least. But yeah, it's not plugged into the wall. I have it plugged into a power strip that then goes to the wall. I tried 2 separate ones, just to double check. And you know how they had there's a little power cord that goes across the case? I removed it from that and did its own thing, and that doesn't even want to work. I know I'm using the right power cord. It's the same one as my monitors, but my monitor cables have like a marker on them so I can tell them apart. And so everything's plugged in. I thought I might have missed the 4-pin, but that was like the second thing I plugged in. So at this point, I'm really just kind of hoping and trying, but we'll see. I'm gonna hook up this reset switch where the power switch should go, just to see if maybe that's it. Maybe it's just the power switch that's busted. But yeah, I get nothing. So that's a little unfortunate. I'm gonna have to go find that spare power supply I have, and if I don't have it, we will have to do round 2 when I get that part in. But we've been streaming for 3 hours now, and I've spent an hour troubleshooting this, and I don't see it ending anytime soon without me getting spare parts. So I think I'm gonna have to update the score. I think it's gonna be CPU 1, Big L 0, if anyone has a spare power supply that I can use to test this, please bring it to Smash Lab tomorrow. If not, I'll just see you guys tomorrow, and I think we'll call it quits for now. I may have to go dig through my storage. I banned the power supply because that seems to be the hardest matchup or the hardest stage I've got right now. So we'll have to figure it out from here. But I will definitely keep you guys posted, and once I get it sorted out, I probably should have tested all this before doing the stream, but I was a little excited and everything came in like a couple days ago. So yeah. When we figure this out, we will keep going. But for now, I think I've hit a wall, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna give up. We're gonna try again when I get more parts and figure out what's going on. So thank you everybody for watching. 3 hours of sitting through this. Hope it was as fun for you as it was for me, because I actually had a good time despite kind of not getting it where we wanted it to be. And yeah. I'll announce when we're going to work on this next. But in the meantime, if the stream room is ready tomorrow and Justin is there with his laptop, we will probably at least stream Melee. And in the future, hopefully we'll do Melee and Smash 4. So, yep. Have a good night, guys. I am going to do some more testing of this on my own, and we'll see. We may do like a late night stream if I get it working. But I don't know. We'll see. Alright, take care guys. Thanks for watching.